Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to my entire book collection tour, including all my completed pages and my work in progress pages. It would be a ridiculously long video if I did every single one of my books at once. So instead I am splitting my book collection into multiple parts. Some of them I've selected by author, some by like style, some just literally leftovers put together. So yeah, this will be done in many parts because I often joke I am a colouring book collector, not a colouring book colourist. It certainly feels like it. So today we are going to start with my favourite artist, and that is Kerby Rosanes. The reason why Kerby is my favourite is because his books were the first that made me fall back in love with adult colouring. I mean, certain issues or books have been like, ooh, this could be really cool, but Kerby was the first one that I went, damn, okay. So, yeah, special place in my heart for Kerby books. So I'm just going to move this pile to the floor and we will start with Mythomorphia. So Mythomorphia is my favourite Kerby book. It's also the first ever Kerby book I had purchased, so it's got a bit of a special place in my heart. I have the American version. You can tell by the front cover if the colouring has a U, it's the English British version. If it's got no U, it's the American version. So I have a mixture of both. The paper is different and the binding is different. So there's pros and cons to each version. It's a personal preference. I actually like the UK version's whiteness of the paper, but I like the tooth of the American paper better. But I like the binding of the UK ones because, as you can see with this one, it's falling apart, and I've also had to sellotape down the spine. So yeah, but this one, like I said, it was the very first Kerby that I purchased. It's an older book in my collection, and I've done a lot in it. And I actually have a goal this year to fully complete Mythomorphia. I'm only like 17%, I think it is, through the book. I've still got quite a bit to go with Mythomorphia, so I don't know if I'll actually manage to do that this year, but it's good to have a goal to work towards. So yeah, let's take you on the tour. Oy. So you can see we've got a whole section that likes to pop out. So the first completed page in here is the White Stag. So this was, we are going to have some shine reflect from my lights. Excellent. So this page has been coloured using chalk pastel for the background, and then polychromos for all these elements around the page, and then I used Prismacolor for the White Stag itself, and then a little bit of stickles on the butterflies and a little bit of white Posca as well. And yeah, I wanted to do a very pale, light, ethereal look to this page. A lot of my pages are very bright and colourful and intense, so it was just playing around with like pastel tones and just doing something a bit different and lighter. And yeah, I really like how it turned out. I do wish I'd done the background a bit darker though. Not too much darker, just a touch darker. I think it would help the light rays that are in here read a bit better. I tried to do a bit of a bokeh effect, but it didn't really work out, so yeah. The next completed page in here is the winged horses. So in this one I used Neo Color 2 on the galaxy sky with some Posca for the stars, and then I used, I think, ink tints on the clouds, and then Prismacolor on the horses themselves, and the moon and the stars, which are then topped with stickles. And this is a example of one of my favourite things to do, which is reflected light. So you'll see on the horses, for example, we've got like blue highlights from where the clouds are reflecting on it, and then we've got like yellow highlights where the moonlight is reflecting on the horses. I really love doing reflected light highlights and stuff on objects. I think it just looks really pretty and helps really put elements in the environment on the page. So you'll see that a lot from me. You also see that I use a lot of stickles in my work because I like glitter and shiny. So this is a work in progress. So in the background I have used Gallery water-soluble crayons. They're like a Neocolor knockoff type crayon. I got them many a year ago. Definitely not as pigmented, but great for laying down a quick base in the background if you just want to fill out a colour. And then on the dragon itself, I have used polychromos and a white Posca to do all the highlights. Still got quite a while to go with this one. This is actually a buddy colour with the lovely colouring Bumblebee on Instagram, who I will tag down below. She is lovely. We've done a buddy colour before, which you'll see in the next part when I film Joanna Badsford's books. And she has actually completed her half of this, and I am nowhere near completing mine, but she's been really great about it. And funnily enough, the last buddy colour we did, I completed my page, and then I waited a few months for her to complete hers because she got busy and tied up with other things. So now it's kind of like tables are reversed, and yeah, so she's been really cool about waiting and understanding because I have been very unwell lately with the lovely virus and whatnot. So appreciate that. Thank you. And yeah, this page is a lot of work, but I'm just loving how it's turning out so far. So the next one, right on the split spine, is the Sandman. So this one I used dew and ink tints in the background with Posca in white and blue and yellow, and then a gold metallic paint pen. I cannot remember, I think it's Deco Color. It's very shiny. And then a very cheap glitter gel that I got from just a coin shop, but it's really pretty. It did take multiple coats to build up enough glitter for my liking, but I do like how the background turned out. And then the Sandman himself and all the details were coloured in Prismacolor with some white Posca for outlines and stuff like that. So yeah, really like how this one turned out. I think I was trying to push myself to use a colour combination I don't normally do, which is blue, green and yellow. Like I tend to do a lot of pink, purple and blue, but green and yellows are not something I really work with. So yeah, I was trying to just push my colour palettes, and it worked, and I'm really glad I did. Alright, gotta be a bit careful around here because, as I said, book's falling apart. So next we have the tree nymph. So the background was done in, I believe, the Gallery watercolours, ink tints, and then Faber-Castell Albert Duras to create this sort of foresty look. This is not in the background. I sort of drew it in to give the illusion that she is in the forest. And then the tree nymph herself was done in Prismacolor. And then on the little sprites that are around here, I used Posca or a white gel pen. I can't remember. It might have been a white gel pen. I might not have had my Poscas by this stage. And then stickles. And I used a white water-soluble pencil to just sort of shade around to give the illusion that the sprites were glowing. And I love this page. I was very pleased when I finished this page. This is the least favourite completed page in this book. Yeah, I don't love this page, and I think it's the colour palette. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have used the bright purple, but I was just trying to sort of tie that colour around everywhere. Yeah, not the biggest fan, and I spent a long time on this page doing all the like white Posca snow and everything, but when I finished it I just wasn't in love, and so I just covered the entire thing in piles of glitter. Like literally there is a 3D pile of glitter here in her hands, like she is blowing out crystal snow, so which helped a lot. If in doubt, cover a page in glitter. Seems to work. Yeah, it's not bad, it's just not my favourite page in here. One of my favourite pages in here though is Underwater World. This was one heck of a journey to colour. I spent several months working on this page. I actually live streamed a lot of it on my Twitch channel, which is really fun because when I was working on this page, I received the suggestion that this when I did the water, I could actually do it as if there was a sunset appearing on top, and I was like, oh my god, that's fantastic. And so I did try to create the illusion of a sunset setting on top of the water, and it took so long, but I love how it turned out. And then I was sitting there chatting with chat while I was colouring in all the different elements, and they were giving me ideas for the different colours. So that's why like the mermaid's hair is green. So it would be like the seaweed, like these could possibly be mermaids too, which I loved that suggestion. And then the coolest thing about it was we were actually coming up with a little story about what was going on the page, because up here we have a nautilus riding the stingray that's got armor, and so we're like, oh, this is the eldritch god of the sea, and this is him riding in on his imperial stingray, and this is his bodyguard. That's why that whale has body armor and none of the others do, and there's their crown because they rule the oceans, and you know, like it became this whole story as we worked on it, and I really love that. So not only is this page like beautifully coloured and I love the effect of it, but it also has a lot of special meaning in my heart for how all my Twitch chat followers helped me build up the page and the story and the meaning behind it. So yeah, that was really fun. And if you do want to catch any of my live streams, the Twitch link is down below. It's really fun. We talk about a lot of random stuff and we do a lot of colouring. The next completed page is this werewolf. So this colour palette is actually inspired by my cousin, who also has this colouring book, and she had started colouring this page and she had done her wolf in like purple and yellow, and I was like, that is freaking cool. She has such an amazing eye for colour. Her pieces are just, I look at her colours and I'm like, oh, how? So yeah, I was like, do you mind if I kind of, and she's like, yeah, go for it. So yeah, I took inspiration from that and did purple and yellow, and you can see again the use of the reflected light tone. So we got like the purples and then the yellows, and you can see it in the trees as well. And then because the mouth had to be red, I was like, okay, we'll bring the red into the birds as well, just so it like all sort of ties in on the page. And I really love how this came together. This is all done in Prismacolor and of course stickles. And I don't think I said on here, but this is all Prismacolor, Posca, and a tiny bit of stickles. I had to. But yeah, this is a very common combination for me. A pencil, white marker or gel pen, and then glitter glue. Speaking of, so we have the water dragon and the fire dragon. So once again we have Prismacolor, Posca, and stickles. The only difference is I believe I used some acrylic ink on the background, and unfortunately it didn't really cover it as flatly as I would have liked. I don't know why I didn't do a second coat. Maybe I was worried about bleeding through the pages a bit, but I just covered the whole thing in black diamond stickles. But this used up what was left of my bottle, which was not a lot, and it really needs another coat. It is patchy in some areas, but I just don't have any left in the bottle, so I need to get another bottle. And maybe once I get another bottle, I will come back and add in another coat and just fill out some of those more patchier of areas. But oh, I do love the effect. It's like they're hiding in their treasure caves or something. It's just very, very sparkly and pretty. I love it. And then the next one completed is the Gorgon, which also has the black diamond stickles in the background, as well as some stickles on the eyes, and the little tarot card, which I tried to cover up as much as possible. I really don't like these hide and seek elements. I'm so grateful he doesn't do that in his newer books, because so much better. Yeah, definitely prefer. So if I can sort of hide an element, if I can, I will. If I can't, I just try to make it not the focus unless it really suits the piece. But yeah, this one is Inktense and Albert Dürer watercolor pencils with polychromos as well. And I really like the pink, purple, teal, blue combo that I did for the snakes. It's a bit of an odd color combo, but I really just wanted to play with like those shadings and stuff. This is quite an older piece. If it was me now, I would probably go back and also add in some dimension on the scales, but I'm happy with it as is, you know. And I think I just have one more work in progress in here, and that is Cerberus. So far I have used Distress inks for the background, and then I've used Prismacolor pencils and Liquitex acrylic inks in the bronze and a white Posca. So yeah, this is still a work in progress. It's still got a while to go, but I'm really liking how it's turning out. The inks have like a really pretty shimmer to it, so I probably won't add glitter to this page, but don't hold me to that. And yeah, and as you can see, as I work in books, a lot of the time there is a bit of bleed through, but when I come back to these pages, I usually find a way to either work it in or work over it. So I try not to let that worry me too much, because I would rather complete a page and how I envisioned it using the media that I want to use, because if worst comes to worst, I can always buy another copy and colour that in a new copy. Like, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, that is Mythomorphia. So still a lot to go in this book. So many pages if I want to complete this book this year. Very unlikely, but I'll try. The next book is Worlds Within Worlds, and this would be a close favourite. It is my second favourite. It's very close to being my favourite. It's just the Mythomorphia just has a special place in my heart. So yeah, but I do love Worlds Within Worlds as well. And this is the UK version, as you can see by the cover having the U. And the paper is much more white in here, and the spine is much flatter, and I do prefer the UK binding, but I do prefer the American paper as it has a better tooth for pencil, I find. So yeah, this is the first work in progress in here. This is using chalk pastel for the water, and then Prismacolor for the little elements, and a little bit of gel pen. I haven't done much. And this one I kind of tackle when I want to colour something, but maybe I only have like 5 or 10 minutes. I'll just come onto this page, pick a particular element, colour that element, and then carry on with the rest of the day. So it's been in progress for a couple of years now, and it will probably keep being in progress for a few years. It's just one of those ones I pick at every once in a while. So the next one's in here. So we have a completed and a work in progress. So this completed one, this bird, this is done, the background is Reeves water-soluble pastels with some stickles over the clouds, and then the bird itself is done in Faber-Castell classic colour. And I did that because I wanted to show somebody that even though Faber-Castell classic colour, which I can grab relatively easily, so I have the 60 set in a tin, which is nice, but they also come in a box of 48. And I was showing somebody that even though these are student quality pencils, and you know, like you can buy the pack of 48 for like $25 here in New Zealand at the moment. Usually goes on special at the start of year for school. So they're relatively cheap pencils, but they're an excellent starting point for colorists. It's actually what I've said for years, and if you go back on my art channel, you'll even see me talking about them in older videos. I have said for years that they are an excellent starting pencil, and I still stand behind that. I really do like them, and you can achieve a lot. Sure, it's not quite as vibrant as, say, the Prismacolor that is next to it, but it's still a fantastic pencil for the price you pay when you're first starting out and wanting to learn how to colour. Speaking of Prismacolor, we have this work in progress. So I think everybody's done the Dragon Eye in this book at this stage, but I'm still working on it. But I do like how all the scales have turned out so far. So yeah, so far I have only coloured in the scales. I've still got all the little spiky bits and then the eye itself to go. The background, the underbase is done in Distress inks, and then the scales are done in Prismacolor. Just 4 colours of Prismacolor, which I've just got on a little post-it there just to remind me. I really should start a tracking sheet for this one. Right, I don't think there's much else done in here. I really need to get on to doing more in here. I think there's just a couple of... Where's the doll's house? I'm sure I've done something in the doll's house. There they are. Yeah. I just did a couple of little bits in the doll's house, like literally just the water down here and then the witches up here. This will probably be tackled in the same way that the front information page is done, in that I'll just come in and work on like a room at a time or something and just tackle each one as its own little thing. Yeah, but I just did a little bit of work on the witches here, and that is Prismacolor. But that's all for Worlds Within Worlds. The next one is Fragile World. I really love this book. I love the fact that this is the start of like having information about stuff in the back, and oh, it's just so good, so good. And you can see just me testing some stuff on the bottom of that page there. But I have done the cover page. I believe this is the Gallery water soluble crayons and not Neocolor, Inktense pencils. And this paper is not, well, it does handle a little bit of wet media. I just put too much water in here. And once again, I've got the UK version. It tends to be the UK versions that we get here in New Zealand, being that we follow British English, but it depends on where I purchase it from. So this is the only completed page in this book. I really, really love how this one turned out. Oh, it's just so pretty. I love Aurora Borealis. Is that what they're called? The Aurora Lights. I'm having complete mind blank. Oh, it's time for me to go have a nap. Oh, but yeah, so this page is done in Prismacolor and Posca and Stickles once again. And these are meant to be seals, but I do like how there's the myth that, you know, when ship ships were on long journeys, like the sailors would look out and see seals and stuff in the ocean, and due to either like dehydration or one reason or another, they might mistake them as sirens or mermaids. Like, that's one of the theories about them. And I do love that concept of, are they seals, are they mermaids? So that's why I chose to sort of block them out and then just cover them in pink and stickles. So it's like, maybe they're mermaids, maybe they're seals. I just think that's a really fun combo. And then there's a work in progress page in here, which is this one. So this one I was testing out some Tombow markers, and I mean, the colours are great. It's a set a friend gave me, but I definitely need to work on controlling them better. It's, yeah, I'm not very happy with the page as is, so oh, excuse me. Like I said, I do definitely need a nap. Not very happy with the page as is, so I definitely need to go in there with some pencils, refine some details, pull some things back, sharpen some things up, the usual. And the other thing as well is that the Tombows bled like crazy, so I also have 2 pages to really try to repair somehow. I like this one, it's not going to be too bad because I could, you know, the yellows in the trees can be reflected from the light, and same with the bushes. Like, I'll find ways to work it into the page or cover it up depending what I do, so it just adds to the page. But yeah, so that's the work in progress, and that is Fragile World. The next one is Wondermorphia, and I wish more Kerby books were single-sided like Wondermorphia. I really wish so. So I have almost every Kerby book. Sorry, just grabbing some liquid. The only ones I am missing are Geomorphia, and I don't have any of his calendars because I don't see the point. I don't use calendars, I use my phone, and I have all the pictures in my colouring books, so I don't see the point in purchasing the calendar. And then there is one Kerby book which is more cartoony stuff. It's like an A4 style book. I can't remember the title. It's a really odd one compared to the other ones. I don't have that one either. I've never seen it available anywhere I can purchase easily in New Zealand, so, but I'm not too worried about not having that one. I will probably pick up Geomorphia just to complete the set, and I do have Alien Worlds on pre-order as well, which will be coming out in March, so looking forward to that. But yeah, Wondermorphia is a single-sided book, and oh, love it, because it means I can use markers. So this is the first completed piece, and I did indeed use markers on this one. I based the castle in alcohol markers and then went over it in the usual combo of Prismacolor and Posca and Stickles. Unfortunately, I did not know that one particular pencil, Black Grape, is terrible with Stickles. Like, so terrible. And it resulted in it turning highlighter pink in various areas, and I hate it. I am so mad that happened because I loved this page before it happened. But, you know, what could you do? I could sit here, I could paint over all the bubbles and then re-stickle them. But then, like, some of the Posca even started turning bright pink, which does work with the light, like the reflex of the amethyst style crystal of the castle, but yeah. So, it's a bit disappointing, but it's still a really beautiful page. It took me God knows how long to do all this, and I am really pleased with how all the crystals turned out. It's really going for like a dark amethyst look with all the sunset reflecting in the crystals, and yeah, I really like how it turned out. just a shame about the highlighter pink. And also I drew the bubbles on there so that I would have something to just add some more interest and dimension to the page, and also some glitter glue. So the next one is a work in progress, and it is a steampunk cat. So the background is distress inks, and then I used alcohol markers. Alcohol markers, and the markers that I used are just like they're called white label, when a company just buys like a standard product and slaps their own label on it. So yeah, they're just some really cheap alcohol markers, but the ink's fine, and it was like 280 markers. It worked out at being like 15 cents a piece. So for what they are, for just basing under drawings, definitely great. If you're going to work solidly with just solid markers, definitely invest in a brush tip. But these are just bullet nibs, and for basing under, so that I don't have to put down as many pencil layers to get a solid colour, they're absolutely fantastic. And then so on top of all the markers, I have worked my polychromos pencils, and basically all I've got left to do is the cat and a couple of various little details, like just his fur mostly. So I really should get back to this page and finish it. It's nearly done. And I do need to do some highlights, so the bronze medal reads more bronzy medal. And then we have one more completed page in here, and that is the jellyfish whirlpool. So this one I really wanted to work with sort of like a monochromatic palette, so it's a lot of teal, but I do love how it turned out. So pretty. So this is again being based with an alcohol marker. I used one marker on this entire page and basically killed it because it was a lot of one colour. So yeah, I probably should have used like a water soluble crayon or something, but meh, done now. And then it is Prismacolor, Posca, and glitter glue. And this isn't actually Stickles. This is a Stickles knockoff. It's by Craftsmart. It comes in a much bigger bottle, but it is a very close Stickles dupe for a much cheaper price. I have a friend in the States who brought a couple of bottles and sent me one to try. Thank you so much, PB. And yeah, I just really love how it turned out, and adds a lot of dimension to the page. It's also really fun to sort of, because you just get like this textural difference between the glitter glue and the pencils. See? I wish my camera would pick up sparkles better. A little bit. Kinda, but not really. So yeah, that is Wondermorphia. And then we have the rest of these books. And I have not done a single page in any of these books. Oh goodness, yeah. So this is why I joke I'm a colouring book collector, and also why I haven't rushed to purchase Geomorphia, but I probably should, particularly while I still can, because it is an older book and I can imagine it getting harder and harder to find. So yeah. So like I said, all I need is Geomorphia, and then I have Alien Worlds pre-ordered, and then I believe Kerby has said that he would like to take a year's break, which means we're probably not going to get a book for 2 years, because it takes him about a year to produce a book series or so. So yeah, that will be hopefully a chance to get a bit more of these books. So I have Kaleidomorphia and World of Colour, which are both sort of best of books. They have collections from the World series and the Morphia series. So that's also why it's like, if some pages get stained, we might have a backup in here that we can go to as well. So, and then I have Fantomorphia. So this is another single-sided one. Its companion is Geomorphia. It's much thinner than all the other ones, and you can also get Fantomorphia and Geomorphia as one book as well. which I won't do because I have Fantomorphia separate as is, so you know, don't really need to, but I still would like to get Geomorphia just to complete the set. And then we have Imagimorphia, which I don't really like a lot of the images in here. I just haven't got into it. And then we have Animorphia, which again, there's some really great images in here. There's a lot of underwater ones. There's also a lot of ones like this where you sort of have to fill in sections that could be really fun to get experimental on. So, and then we have Mythic World, which, oh, this one's so cool. Again, it's got all the information in the back about the different myths and what they are about, and it's just really cool to see. But yeah, still haven't coloured in here, so one day one day we will get there. So yeah, so yeah, that is my complete Kerby Rosanes colouring book collection. I hope you've enjoyed this rather long video. As I said, this is just one of the artists on my shelf, so this is why I'm splitting it up into multiples. But I hope you've enjoyed this book tour and seeing some of my work in progress and completed pages. Let me know down below which is your favourite page and which page would you like to see me work on next, whether it's one that I've almost completed or maybe it's a different one altogether that you'd like to see done. If you also want to have a closer look at any of the books with a book flip through, please let me know and I'll put one up. But I am aware with these Kerby books, a lot of them are already up on YouTube. You know, Kerby is a very popular artist in the colouring world, so you know, I feel like most people have kind of seen a lot of his books, but more than happy to do a flip through for anyone who hasn't seen any of his wonderful works. But yeah, I'm going to leave this part here. I'm going to shove these all back on my shelf and go on and record the next book tour, which should be up tomorrow for you. Have a lovely day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!